Look closely at this escapement wheel. It is the beating heart of a mechanical watch, ticking exactly as it has for centuries. But the numbers behind these tiny spinning gears are staggering. We tend to think of luxury watches as one single, unified market. The reality is a massive, highly fragmented $25 billion global industry, driven by wildly different business models. If you're looking to buy, you are immediately faced with a wall of confusion. How do you explain why one brand charges $5,000, while another demands $250,000 for a piece that does the exact same thing? At this level, you aren't paying to tell time. You are making a calculated decision about capital allocation, liquidity, and the exact social signal you want to broadcast when you walk into a room. To navigate this without burning cash, you have to ignore standard top 10 lists. Instead, you need to match your specific financial risk tolerance to how these brands actually operate. Let's build a map. On the horizontal axis, we measure a brand's aesthetic approach. On the left, we have quiet, subtle heritage. On the right, loud, experimental, avant-garde design. Now we cross it with the vertical axis, required capital. Down here at the bottom is entry-level luxury, starting around $5,000. At the top, the ultra-wealth tier, demanding $250,000 and up. Plotting the market onto this four-quadrant matrix gives us a clear lens to evaluate exactly what you are getting for your money and what you are giving up. We start in the bottom left quadrant, Tier 1. These are the foundational heritage brands, Cartier, Omega, Breitling. Buying in here requires an allocation of roughly $4,500 to $12,000. Your money here buys you two specific things: immediate access to deep horological history and a highly wearable, robust watch for daily use. Omega secures its position by leaning heavily into its legacy of precision, famously selected by NASA as the official timekeeper for the Apollo space missions. Breitling commands this space by maintaining its reputation as the trusted, highly readable instrument for both civilian and military aviators. But the business reality of this tier is mass production. Cartier alone produced and sold an estimated 620,000 watches in 2022. That massive volume dictates the trade-off. Because these brands flood the global market with inventory, these pieces rarely appreciate in value on the secondary market. If you buy into Tier 1, you are paying for functional history and craftsmanship. You are purchasing a depreciating consumer good, not a financial asset. Moving up the capital axis, we enter Tier 2, requiring anywhere from $10,000 to well over $100,000. Here sit the dominant traditional players: Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet. This group represents near absolute market dominance. They combine intense brand recognition with unmatched secondary market liquidity. This bar chart highlights the scale of that dominance. Rolex alone holds nearly 30% of the entire Swiss watch market, driving over $9.7 billion in sales across roughly 1.2 million watches. Brands like Patek Philippe insulate themselves from market fats through absolute mastery of traditional craftsmanship and a deep royal pedigree, historically commissioned by Queen Victoria. Rolex built its untouchable status through functional necessity, developing highly robust innovations like the Submariner to withstand the extreme pressures of deep-sea diving. The cultural cachet of these robust tool watches exploded when associated with high-profile figures. Paul Newman's personal Rolex Daytona famously sold for $17.8 million. Today, that perception is sustained by elite athletes, cementing these watches as ultimate symbols of sustained excellence and victory. But here is the massive trade-off. That extreme, sustained demand has completely eliminated retail accessibility for the average buyer. You cannot simply walk into a boutique and buy one. You are forced to navigate exhausting allocation games, build long-term purchase histories with authorized dealers, or pay exorbitant markups on the gray market. Tier 2 watches function as highly liquid, value-retaining alternative assets, provided you have the patience and resources to survive a punishing dealer ecosystem. Finally, we cross over to the top right quadrant, Tier 3. This zone demands $250,000 to multi-million-dollar outlays to access the avant-garde disruptors like Richard Mille and Jacob & Co. These brands completely abandon the quiet subtlety of traditional watchmaking. They focus entirely on hyper-modern, experimental engineering and extreme mechanical complexity. They achieve this by utilizing cutting-edge, high-performance materials like titanium and carbon TPT, drawing direct inspiration from aerospace engineering and modern Formula One racing. This chart proves the viability of their business model. Despite capturing only a microscopic fraction of total volume, Richard Mille generated nearly $1.4 billion in sales by maintaining a staggering average retail price of roughly $257,000 per watch. The aesthetic goal here is total disruption. Pieces like the $1.5 million Jacob & Co. Astronomia aren't meant to slip under a shirt cuff. They are engineered for maximum visibility and undeniable wealth signaling. The trade-offs in this tier are severe. These polarizing designs lack the daily versatility of traditional steel sports watches. And that massive initial capital outlay is locked into highly volatile, highly illiquid secondary markets. Tier 3 is not about careful value preservation. It is a deliberate, uncompromised deployment of capital to broadcast ultimate status to anyone in the room. Ultimately, there is no objective best luxury watch. The right choice depends entirely on matching your specific financial goals to the right quadrant. Let's map out 3 distinct buyer profiles. First is the milestone buyer. You want historical pedigree and a robust daily wear piece, not a secondary market profit. Your capital belongs strictly in Tier 1. Omega, Breitling, and Cartier deliver exactly what you need without locking up cash. Next is the value preservation investor. You view these pieces as alternative assets and demand strict long-term liquidity. Focus entirely on Tier 2. Despite grueling waitlists, Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet offer the dominance required to protect your capital. Finally, the uncompromised flexor. You have immense discretionary capital and prioritize loud, room-commanding design over conservative financial planning. Your tier is exclusively the top right. Avant-garde disruptors like Richard Mille and Jacob & Co. are engineered specifically for this purpose. If you want to navigate the watch market successfully, ignore the generic rankings. Respect the mathematical realities behind each brand's production model and deploy your capital exactly where it serves your true intentions.